Hi, Karen here with another card for Christmas in July. Today we're going to be making a Karen Burniston card that when you open it up, it's a fireplace. And this card is real fun. It's got little Santa legs that hang down. It's got wreaths, candles, basket for wood. It has all kinds of things in it. And there are other pieces, so you can make this every day also. So let me get this camera turned around and I'll show you all the sets. All right, so here's the card, and on the outside, I just put a Merry Christmas. This is just something I had from my stash. You could put anything you want on here. You could put a Santa Claus, you know, if you wanted to do it with the legs on the inside. Just put a little Santa on the outside. Pretty much anything you want on the outside. We're going to concentrate on what's inside the card. So here we have the fireplace. We have some decorations here. We've got a basket. We have all these things here, and this comes from Karen Burniston has 3 sets. She has this one, which is 1210, the fireplace pop-up, which was the original set. And she came out with 2 add-ons. 1212 is the fireplace extra, which has a wreath, a clock, some flowers, the basket we're going to use, another set of grate to go in the front, a picture frame set, so you could put pictures above the fireplace. And then she came out with a holiday one, which has the garland, it has stockings, it has the candles, it has the fire, you know, poker and the little shovel. It's got another little grate here. Yep, that's all the pieces for this one. Yep. So it has, you know, a lot of different pieces. You can do a lot of different things with this. This isn't just for the holidays. You could really use it for anything. But we're going to make this one for Christmas. So I have everything cut out. And everything is in here. So what we're going to use is we have all the pieces from the fireplace. And Karen Burniston does this with a lot of her dies. She makes them stencils. So once you cut this out, you can emboss it. If you have a die cutting machine that can emboss, you can emboss this. And you can stencil it. So all I did was you just leave it in the die. And the cherry red I have matches the red paper I have. It's just a little bit darker. And then you just go over it. And there you go. And if you want, you can kind of brush it a little bit, kind of soften it some. And then for the mantelpiece, is also the same thing. It has stencil marks on it, and there's also a fold line on this one. You can see the fold line is here, the score line's right here. And you would just do the same thing. You could run it through your machine the way it tells you to emboss. Or you could just run the stencil over the top. Either way. And you'll end up with a piece that looks like this. So, you know, also on here, so we have the Santa boots. And this piece here is the top piece for the Santa boots. We have pieces of wood. This here folds behind pieces if you want to pop them out, like the candles or the flames and the fire. Anything like that you want to pop out, you'll use this little piece for. Now in the Christmas set, we're also going to use all the pieces. We have the garland here, and I cut out 2. I put 1 in my original card, but I'm thinking I may double it up and put 2. We have a grate for the front. We have some bows. We have candles. We have stockings that go in 2 different directions. And all 4 of the white pieces cut out here. We have the tools for the fireplace. And these little here are the berries for the holly leaves. So we have all those. And in this third set, the only piece we're going to use is the wreath, the basket, and the wood. The rest of it I'm not going to use in this card. All right, so let's bring in all the pieces that we cut. All right, so let's start with the main die, which is the piece here. And this is what's going to make everything pop out. So you'll cut this out, you'll fold everything along the lines, and everything just kind of folds in. because when this folds over, it's going to form a box. And these little tabs are going to come forward. So let's glue this together to give this a second to dry. And if you just fold it flat, it will lay in the correct place. So let me show you again what I did. So I folded over at the second fold line, so it's flat. And the glue went on the tab, and then when you open it up, it's exactly where you want it to be. All right, so we're going to leave this over here to the side and let it dry for a moment. Now you can make this an A2 card. It will fit, but I'm going to make this as a 5x7. All right, so we have our 5x7 card base, which is 7 by 10, folded in half. This is going to be our front because it's going to be a landscape card. Now for the front, I just cut out a Anna Griffin nesting die that I had, and I took the biggest one here because this is a set she has that's actually big enough to make 5x7 cards, and she even comes with a die to cut out a 5x7 card base, which is kind of nice. So I just took the biggest frame piece, cut this part out. Since I didn't use this part here, it left the middle solid, and I used the one down that would cut this into a frame, and I just cut that piece out. So now it will layer on top of each other. Right, so this cut this. The next piece down was here. And this set's kind of nice. It came in 4 different shapes. But you can see how there's a frame piece, and then the plain piece, which will cut it out to make it a frame. And if you don't use that side, then you end up with a solid piece like this. So those are kind of nice. All right, so this is going to get glued on here. And then I just have this giant Merry Christmas. And like I said, you can really use anything you want to put in here. Anything will work. If you wanted to color something and put it on the front that was like a tree or Santa or really anything, or stamp. If you just wanted to stamp something out, that would work. So in a card like this where it's going to be left open, I usually don't spend a lot of time at the outside of it. I'm just going to lay this in the middle. And then this whole thing will get glued onto the gold background. I'm going to use tacky glue on this one because the other glue I have might pull the finish off of the mirror card. I'm just going to line this up in the middle. And then this whole thing, my little pieces didn't poke out. Make sure we're not putting it on upside down. All right, and that's going to be the front of the card. Now inside the card, let me grab my original. All right, so here's the original. So you can see I just picked a paper to put on the top here that looked like wallpaper. And then on the bottom here, I have it was a plain brown piece of paper that I ran through a wood grain embossing folder and then went over it with warm cocoa. I know you've seen me do that a lot of times with the wood grain. But then when I was looking through my stash for a piece to be wallpaper, I found this paper, which is a wood floor. So I'm just going to use that for this card. All right, so let's make sure. All right, that's the top, so the wallpaper will go on this side. wallpaper up here. And these papers are cut to 5x7. And when you cut something 5x7 for a 5x7 card, you just want to make sure that you're not getting caught in the fold. So you may end up needing to trim just a smidge off the top. We'll just line that up. And that's just because it's going on the inside. Yeah, I'm going to need to cut a smidge of that off. Let me cut that off. And before I glue this one in, I'm going to just cut. Let me show you what I'm doing. Bring in my small trimmer here. I am just going to cut just a sliver off. That's it. That's it. Just that much. Just so it doesn't get caught in the fold. This will go down here for the floor. I'll push that down to the fold. All right. Now we have our front. We have our wallpaper back, and we have our floor. Make sure these corners are down good. There we go. All right, so that's all done now. So let's go back now, put this over to the side for a second. Let's bring in, yep, that's all dry. That looks good now. All right, so this is going to sit like this in the card, but we need to do a couple things first before we glue it in. First thing we're going to do is attach the boots. Let's grab the boots. Here, I'll bring this over here. Make sure we have one boot going in each direction. This goes on top. Okay, now to attach the boots, we're going to fold these two tabs in. Going to slide them through this hole this way. Make sure I'm not putting them on backwards, and Santa would look a little silly. All right. We're going to fold in the tabs through the hole. And once it's in the hole, you unfold them and just push them flat with your finger. All right, so now we have our dangling feet. So now the fireplace front is going to sit on here like this. So we need glue across here, down the legs, but not on these two tabs. And this will get lined up with the top. You can fold it either direction, whichever one helps you line it up. Then these get lined up. One there, one here. So now the little folds are flush here with the bottom. All right. All right, so now we have this, but before we can attach it to the card, we have to make a hearth for the fireplace. And you'll see it's down here, and it's actually the same piece as the mantle. You just cut that one out twice. So I have this one here, where I've run it through the machine and cut it, but I haven't inked it yet. So I'm going to ink it in warm cocoa. And we're just going to rub this on here. And I did pick a different color than I did the mantle. Just thought maybe it would give it a little something if it wasn't quite the same color. So we'll see. Because on the other card I used the same color. Alright, so this one we're not going to fold. This one is just going to get glued in the middle of the card here. Then we're going to put some glue. This will go in the middle. Now I would lift up the card so you can see where your crease is, your fold is. Get that in the middle. Alright, so next we're going to attach our fireplace. To attach the fireplace, I'm going to turn the card sideways here. Just makes it a little easier for me. I'm going to attach glue to each of the tabs. We're going to turn it face down in the card. Yeah, let's see, this way. There's my boots. And we're going to line it up in the middle of the hearth. Like that. So these tabs should match the bottom of the hearth. All right, so that way when the card opens, it's going to open like this. And it will be out, I don't know, I guess it sticks out. About a ½ inch from the back of the card. So now we're going to lay this flat. We're going to put glue on here. And we're going to, this is laying flat. We're going to close the card. Let's see. I think we're good. So now we have our fireplace in place. I'll lay it down this way so you can see. But it's still kind of wet, so I don't want to pull on it too much. All right, I'm going to support this in the back with this so it doesn't pull on the card. Get it to lean back a little bit. All right, so now we're going to put the top on the fireplace. Now this piece here, it's going to sit like this. And it should fit flush. So we're going to glue here. This is going to sit flush like this. So we put glue across the top, and the section that's a little shorter, because this section is wider than that one, we're going to put some glue there. I know it's a little awkward to hold this to where you can see it best. When you're doing this yourself, you'll just hold it to where it's best for you. I'm trying to do this to keep my hand out of the camera view. All right. And I'm going to close this for a moment. Let this all set up. All right, well, while that dries, let's put together some of the decorations for inside. So with the wreath, I have some green paper here, and in the first one here, I only put one layer, and that looked okay, but I think I want to put 2 layers in this one, and I'm also going to put some ink on it to give it a little bit more dimension. Let's see, that should be good. So what I'm thinking is that if I offset it, yeah, I think I like that a lot better. So now I have, let me get my jewel picker. I have a bow, and I have 3 things of berries I can put on here. So I am going to put some glue on the bottom for the bow, and then one here, and one here for the berries. There we go. After that dries, I may put a little sparkle pen on that. I think I like that better. I think the 2 layers looks better than the one. All right, so now we have the garland. I'm going to do the same thing with the garland. I'm just going to edge it a little bit. Just to, there's not a lot of dimension in this one. A lot of detail. So I thought if I just made it a little bit more colorful with the 2-tone green, it would give it a little bit more. Because once you get it all decorated, you are covering a lot of this. So we're just going to put a little bit here. I'm going to do the same thing here. Put some glue on this one. And now this one I'm going to lay over the top. I'm just going to kind of offset it a little bit at an angle. I think that will be good. So then across this one, I have a bow for the middle. And let's see, we have the stockings. Let's bring the stockings in. So the stockings, let me show you the die for the stockings. There are 2 dies. So you have 2 where the stockings go in one direction and 2 for the stockings going in the other direction. Because Karen Burniston is really good about this, about if there's something you want to make more than one of, she gives you multiple dies. Like here, there's 2 bows, and here you've got the 4 stockings all set. So we have 4 stockings. 2 are going in one direction, 2 are going in the other. And these 3, I already marked the heels and the toes. And all I did was take a darker marker and I went around the toe. And then I went around the heel. And that was it. That's all I did there. So now we're going to take a little bit of glue across the top of each one. And we'll just put these on top of each stocking. And the way they cut out, they do actually have a front and a back. You can't actually tell the difference in real life. The camera's probably not picking it up. All right, so we have that. So now we just have to decide where we want to put these. So I'm thinking this way. Like this. And we'll put the bow in the middle. These don't have to be completely straight. This will go in the bow. Bow will go in the middle. A little extra glue there. Get rid of that. All right, now we'll let that dry. So the next we'll take our candles. Now in the original I had one candle. I think in this one I'm going to put two. So this one I already colored some. So I have the yellow, red 1-6 and yellow 3-5 for the candles. That seems to be working really well. So just color all that. Then we put the orange in the middle. Just a little swipe. Don't make them all the same. And then we're just going to go back over with the yellow. All right, so now we're going to glue on the holly. And the berries will go in the middle. The branches do angle up a little bit, so I'm going to put them facing up. All right, so now we have our candles. All right, now we have our wood pieces here. Now on the first one, I used the pieces that were in the original set, which were these pieces here. And they look like that. But in this one, I'm going to use the other pieces of wood, which are in the everyday set, and they were 3 separate pieces. I'm just going to use those this time. So here's our basket, and the basket has a slit in it, so you can slide the pieces of wood in there. So I'm going to take brown, and I'm going to take the warm cocoa again, and I'm just going to use what's left on here, and I'm just going to go around the bottom of the basket just to give it a little bit of two-tone color. There we go. Now I'll take a little bit of glue. My hands are getting sticky. Put some glue here. And just slide each of these in here. There you go. That just needs to dry. Now we have our 3 holly pieces here. And all we have to do with these is put the berries in the middle. All right. And then our other pieces will go straight on the fireplace. So let's see if this is dry now. Well, this looks pretty good. think I could have put a little bit more glue on the bottom. So it looks like I didn't reach all the way to the edge, either that or it pulled up when it was wet. There. All right, so that's all set now. So now we just need to decorate. So I'm going to lay this flat so you can see what I'm doing. Move these over here. All right, so first let's put the wreath on the wall. And on this one here, I put it on foam so it didn't look so flat against the wall. And I think I'm going to do that again. So I have some foam. Let me flip that over. We'll put one piece here. Let's see. Cut this one in half. I got it from the other side. Nope, we can't see any of it. Pull this off. All right, and this will go in the center up here. Then we have our mantle. Our garland, which will cover the mantle, which will go here. We will glue this on. You know what? I'm going to use tacky glue for this. That way it sets faster. All right, so this will go on here like this. Make sure it's in the middle. All right, let's make sure we're still able to close it. We didn't cause any catch points. Oh, we're all good. Still needs to dry a little bit. All right, oops. Put a little bit more glue on there. You know, I've been trying really hard not to be so heavy-handed with the glue. But then sometimes you need more. There must be a happy medium in there someplace. All right, that's good. So now, if we look at this one, we put the basket here, the little grate here, and the tools are over here. So we'll do the same thing. Basket. We will glue on the right hand side. We'll attach that to the left side of the fireplace, like so. Now our tools. This I'm going to need a fine tip bottle for because these are tiny. They're very skinny. So you just want to put a little bit round and about in the edges. Just a little bit. And this will go over here. Make sure that's all flush. All right. So now we have our grate. This is the back. Now the grate, you're only going to put glue on the first spoke here and the last one. That's the only ones that are actually going to touch the fireplace. I'm going to flip this up. Line that up like that. All right. So now we have our candles. Now our two candles I am going to have sticking out from the wall. So these pieces here are this die here that's in the original set. And it has little score lines on it, but basically it's folding it into 4 pieces. What we're going to do, make sure it's folded straight. go. So you're going to want this to sit here. So you're going to glue the top. You're going to fold it in half. So this is the long piece. You're going to fold it in half, put glue on the top, put glue on the bottom. You need a little bit more glue than that. You're going to place it where you want it on the mantle and shut it. It will stick where it needs to be. But we need to let it sit there for a moment. Give it time to grab. Depending on the kind of glue you're using, you'll have to let it sit for whatever length of time it takes for your particular kind of glue to grab. So here's the other one. So we're going to fold it in half. And you can just follow the score lines. And it folds in half again. Now we're going to put glue on the top. Use the tacky glue so it grabs faster. Glue on the top, glue on the bottom. Open this up, lay it on top of the mantle, and close your card. And hope your fingers aren't sticky. All right. Let that sit for a moment. All right. Yeah, see the tacky glue grabs a lot faster. Is that catching? All right, let me move my basket because I put that down too low. Yeah, there we go. Now we're okay. Basket was a little too high. All right. So that's still a little wet, but we can go ahead and glue the candles on there. So we're going to put some tacky glue on the back here. On the front, I should say. On the front of these tabs. And we will attach them. There. Now you want them to be on the ground, but you want to make sure they have enough room to flip down. So make sure they don't go past. There we go. Go past where the square attaches to the wall. So let's make sure we don't have any catch points and close this up. All right, that looks good. All right, that looks good. All right, so now we have this. So now we just have to decide, let's see, let's look at our original. So I do like it a lot better with the 2 candlesticks. And I like it with the double garland on there. All right, that all looks good. So all we have left is decide where we want to put these 3 little holly things. Now I think I'm going to put one on the fireplace like I did in the first one. So one will go here. And let's say we can put one Where do we want to put them? I guess we can put them in between here. We'll put one here, and we'll put one over here. So that will give us 4, 5, 6, 7 things on the mantle here. We'll give it a little bit more color. There we go. I think that looks good. All right, I think our fireplace is done. All right, so now we just have to put our inside message. Let me close this up and give this a chance to set all that up while we do the inside message. All right, so now I'm going to go back to the nesting dies from Anna Griffin. I'm going to pull this one off. This one is kind of like a rectangle. To me, it looked like a rug. Looked a lot like a rug, and that's what I used in the original here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out in a solid color, and then this one out in white. All right, so I cut the 2 pieces out, and here's my stamp. Move these out of the way. Open this up. And this says, "May your Christmas be merry and bright." So that's just going to go in the middle. Pick that up. Let me grab my black ink. So my Gina K ink. That looks good. Put that to the side. Glue this together. This time I made a gray rug. You can really use any color you want. All right, let's see how this is all drying now. It's looking pretty good. All right. I don't want to pull on it to force it to stay open yet, because I don't think it's completely dry. Put this in the middle. All right, so now we have our "May your Christmas be merry and bright." We have our fireplace, and everything is just about dry. There's one more piece. See, now that it's just about dry, it stands. That glue is taking forever to set right there. So now we need to take a piece of whatever color you did your fireplace in, 1.25 inches by 3. Now this is not a die that's not in the directions, but if you notice, you can see through to the back wall. I just don't particularly like that. So you can see in this one, I put a piece of red here, or red inside. I think that looks a lot better. So it's 1.25 inches by 3. And I am going to use my Collal glue because it takes it longer to set. And this way it will give me time to slide it in there. Because what I'm going to do, get some glue on here. I am going to slide, let me turn this up on its side so you can see what I'm doing. I'm sliding it in. Make sure I'm not hitting the Santa boots. We're going to slide that in. You won't be doing it on its side. All right, let me hold it the way I normally would be. So I'm going to use my hands here to slide it into the middle. Slide it down. And I'm going to close the card so it sticks to the back. There we go. So now we have a back to the card. All right, so now we are done, I believe. We have our front. We have our inside here. All right, so let me get the camera turned around. Okay, well, I gave the card a minute to dry, so it would be completely set. But here we go. So Merry Christmas, and when you open it up, bam, there it is. May your Christmas be merry and bright. So now everything's all dry. It's all nice and good. It's all standing up nice and straight. And here's the original. So you can see you can use any color in the background. And just remember to put that 1 1/4 inch piece behind there that's not a die. And there it is. Yeah, so these were the Karen Burniston dies. The original was 1210. Then the 2 add-ons were 1212 and 1211. So I hope you liked it. Give me a like. If you want to see the other Christmas ones coming out for the rest of the month, go ahead and subscribe and you'll get a notification when they come out. And until then, stay crafty.